welcome everyone to today's session, and we will continue from where we stopped the last time. Okay, so if you look at my screen, we did stop at just creating the calculated columns and calculated measures, and then we started with the slice as well. And then today we're just gonna quickly start putting the visuals. Now, let me quickly take you back to um, the what we had as the wireframe, right? So if you look at this wireframe, right? So we do have the measures now. So we just need to add all these filters and then we have this visual. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. So most of this is going to be more of a placeholder. And then in our next video, we'll then try to clean it up to make it look really nice. With that, let's head back to our dashboard. Okay, now looking at this, so you'll see that we do have these as part of the filters. So we're just going to quickly edit this guy. We don't need the blank, so what we need here is just basically to remove the blank, and then we have all of that. And this is more like a card, so we just make this a filter. All right, and I believe we did that. Okay, beautiful. Now it's a filter, and then you just make it. We want to make it a tile, so we just make it a tile. You see it's looking great, and then we remove the header. Okay, guys, that's really what we're gonna do, and then we can just place it right here. Now, again, like this one is just gonna be more of a placeholder for all the filters and visuals. So we've completed that. Now, before we go further, we need to just do a quick clean up on our page, right? So this page is looking small for what we need. And so what we're gonna do, just click outside of any of these card visuals, and then you just click out, and then you can click on this button. It gives you some information here. So we want to call this a summary page, right? And then here we just want to make it a custom. Okay, so here we just make it. You can feel free to use any dimension that you think is appropriate, but for what we want to design here, I'm going to use 1002 for the height, and then for the width I'll use 1600. Okay, pixel. All right, and then if you look here, you can see the if we'll minimize it, you know, if you zoom out, and then you can see that it's more like on the top. So we want to make it in the middle so we can actually see our design properly. All right, and then for the background, if you notice wireframe, it's more blue background, so we're just gonna make that blue as well. So we use this blue, and then would, you know, just use whatever you think is appropriate. It looks appealing. This looks great for me, and that's it. So that's what I'm gonna leave it at, and that's all I need to do on the page of editing. Right now, let's quickly go to other visuals that we actually need. I'll just make this a little bit bigger. So for these, I'll copy these filters and just copy and paste, and then I'll drop in the month. And remember, we created the month, so I drop the month. And now we don't want the month as tiles, we want it as drop down. So we're just gonna switch this to drop down, which is great. Now, one thing you'll notice here is that with this, let's just quickly adjust something here. It's still keeping these filters. I'm just gonna remove that filters, and you can see this month names are not ordered properly. They are more like in descending or ascending order, right? Even if you click on here, it only sort by descending and ascending order, right? So what you want to do is to, because there is no way for the system to know that, you know, this is actually a month, right? So you need to be able to configure that. So what we need to do is to come back to this the data view, and then where you have the month, there is an option here to sort by. So you sort by month number, and that will automatically take effect on your page. Now you can see it's ordering properly from January, June, July, August, September, and October. All right, so that's really what we want. We just need to specify that this is for 2025. So I'll just quickly, we'll still have to do some cleanup afterwards, but for now, I'll just put a title here and say year 2025. And also keep in mind, this title, we can make it dynamic, but we're not going to do that in this particular video. But just know that that's possible as well. I know some of you that are very conversant with Power BI, you probably are familiar with that possibility. But we would have other sessions, hopefully where we can dive deep into some of the various options we have in Power BI. Now, let's quickly go back to the last filters here. So I'm going to just copy this, Control C, Control V. And then for this one, I just want to drop in the maximum temperature. So I drop in the maximum temperature, and then you can see it's this is the maximum values, but the title is not changed. We're going to change that. But before we change the title, we want this to be a slider, and for that we'll make it between, and then you just kind of enlarge this visual, then to be able to show the slider. This is good, and then we just need to change the title, and then we'll just quickly change the title to we'll change this to maximum temperature. All right, so that's basically it, and then we just make this enlarge this tile a little bit. All right, so this is great. Now let's go to all the other visuals that we need to put in place. So with that, I will select this line and close that column chart. All right, so let me reduce this guy. All right, so just so basically we have the column clustered. I want it to be very big so you guys can see properly. And then so we'll drop in the date. That's what we need to do. First of all, drop in the date. All right, once we drop in the date, and then we'll drop in the total revenue. All right, and then we'll drop in the total trip count as well. All right, and then for the line, we'll just drop in the temperature, right, for the line y-axis, and also the precipitation. So you will notice that something is going on. You see we are not seeing any value. The reason is because we have some outlier in our data, and we just need to quickly address that. Well, the big outlier is the January 1st, 2029. So we're just going to filter that out, and then we can see this is what we have in our wireframe we're working with. Now we're just quickly going to make some few changes here. So here we're gonna just, because this is actually showing the maximum temperature here, right? So we're just gonna call this max temperature. Max temperature, we'll make the T capital. Oh, so okay, I actually dropped the minimum instead. Okay, so I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna drop the maximum temperature is what I wanted. All right, so and then I'll just call this max temperature. That's really it. And then we just rename the precipitation as well, and we'll call this precipitation in millimeter. We'll put that in brackets. Okay, and that's basically it. So it's looking good. Total revenue, total trip count, we just want to change that to total trips as well. Total trips, and then maximum precipitation. That's looking good. And then we don't need this y-axis title, so we need to remove that. The x-axis as well, we don't need that because the legend will show what each of these metrics look like. And so let's quickly remove all of that, and then we'll remove this title for the y-axis, and then remove the title for the x-axis as well. All right, so now that we've completed all of that, the only last thing we need to do is the date here. Sorry, the title I meant to say. So if you look at the title here, so we're just going to call it daily total revenue. And guys, if you don't have a wireframe, sometimes you might just have to create one by yourself. So just it's always good to know the data, and then as you get familiar, you can then our best to put in the right title. So here we call it daily total revenue, total trips, maximum temperature, and then precipitation in millimeter. That's great. So we're just going to change that max to maximum. All right, maximum, and that's pretty much it. And then we're gonna centralize it, and also we're gonna just we can use this guy, and then we'll change the text color to white. All right, it's looking good. And then we want our text for our title to be 14, and then we want semi-bold. Okay, so that's really it. It's looking great. We're still gonna have enough time to really look at the aesthetics in terms of the look and feel and make sure that it looks good. But for now, this is great, and this is exactly what we want. So we've created one of our visual. Then we'll just go ahead and we're looking for all this as well. So I'm going to copy this and then paste. All right. And then we need to do the second one, which is total trips by rainfall category. So we'll switch this visual to this stacked column chart, right? And then we'll just use total revenue by rainfall. So we'll switch this to rainfall category. All right. And then we just leave only total revenue. All right. So this is great. And then we also just change the title. If you come here to the title, that's just going to be your total trips by rainfall category. So let's quickly write that. Total trips by rainfall category. All right, now we don't need this lot of space here, so we just kind of reduce it. And that's great. So we then copy this and paste as well. So the second one we have is the scattered charts, and so we'll just use this scattered chart and we'll switch this with scattered chart. So we want total trip by precipitation. So in that instance, so we'll have remove this guy. Let's make sure this is total trips, not total revenue. I just want to quickly switch that over. So we just fix that, right? And that's why you have to be careful when you are copying one visual and then try to replicate it for other visuals, right? All right, so now for this one, we will drop in the precipitation on the x-axis, right? And then we'll also then drop in the total count on the y-axis, right? And then that should really work. And then you don't want this to summarize, so we just say don't summarize, and that's really good. And then we change the title to total trips by precipitation in millimeter. Let's quickly do that. All right, so total trips by precipitation in millimeters, right? All right, so that looks good. I'll show the spelling is correct. All right, so that's really great. Okay, guys, just follow me closely, and then we're just gonna try to reduce this, guys, so we have room. Again, like I mentioned, we're still gonna make it a little bit. I hope you are following, so you can see it's looking great, and this is also looking great. This shows us basically, you can see we have a lot of trips in at between 0 and 10 precipitation, which makes sense. People want to go for ride when it's not the weather is really good. All right, so we'll leave that at that. Then the last one we have here, and we'll just quickly do that. Let me reduce this again. Okay, the last one we just have right here is going to be total trips by day of week. Now we need to use our tree map, so I select the tree map, and then we don't need the rainfall category again, but we need a day of week. Remember, we created a calculated column called day of week, and then we drop in the day of week, and then it's just total trips by day of week, which is great. So we have our values, we have our category. Now, one thing you can see here, there is no way for you to know which they actually have lots of trips. So we just need to adjust this. Let me make this a little bit bigger since I'm focusing on that right now. So if you look at this, you can see there is no way for you to tell, okay, whether it's Tuesday or Thursday that has more, that we have more trips on. All right, so because of that, we're just gonna come back here and come to colors, and then we're gonna use a function, and then we're gonna use gradient, right? So we're gonna just say if we have for where we have a lot of values and more trips, let it be red, and then if we have in between, let it be yellow, and then the lowest value will be this, and then will just be very this color right here, more like a cyan color. And then so you can see right off the back, you can see we have a lot of trips on Tuesday, Saturday, Thursday, and Wednesday, which is great. And then Sunday and Monday, we kind of don't have a lot of trips. But then you can see the Monday is not coming, it's not showing very well because this text is in white color. So we need to adjust that so it's very legible. So let's quickly do that. So if you look for the values here, so you can see it's in white, so we just make it black, and then it looks good. So that's really it. And you can see we've been able to populate all the various visuals that we need for this design. All right, I hope you really enjoyed this session, and for now we're going to stop here, and in the next video we're going to be focusing on just putting everything together and really making it look beautiful. With that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.